Once we have our template ready, we need to gather a few supplies, including your template. Then you're going to need some type of device like this needle tool or an awl for actually punching the holes through the paper. I prefer, as I've stated before, the needle tool because the shaft is the same dimensions, and no matter how far I push down, I'm not going to wind up making a larger and larger hole. So if you have something similar to that to use, you're going to need that. And then you're also going to need your sewing cradle or some type of device to help us make the holes. Let's take a look first at the sewing cradle. I provided a link in my blog post to a great tutorial on how to make one, very, very similar to mine. This is just a collapsible version that's easy for travel. You may see these online, lovely wooden versions. It would be worth your time if you feel like you're going to make some books to go ahead and make one of these. It's not difficult, and the time investment, I think it will be well worth it. Our legs just go in the slots, and it opens up, and we have a little trough that has basically a separation, a hole here that's just covered with the tape. It's going to allow us to take pages from our book and punch the holes. And to do that, what you're going to do is your pages that are put in order, you're probably going to want to start with maybe the top few pages. Since mine are nested in the groups of 2, it's very convenient to just do 2 at a time. And then I'm going to put them back in the order as I go. But I'm just going to rest the pages in the sewing cradle. That V it makes just holds those pages. I'm going to make sure it's butted up against this. I'm going to be consistent about always butting up. I'm going to do the top or the head of my pages. Always go in the same direction. And then I can just take the sewing template and place that on top, and now it is our template for punching our holes. Now, if you don't have a sewing cradle and you want to do this, some other alternatives that help you to do this efficiently and safely, you might want to put down on something protecting your table like this cutting mat, either several layers maybe of a bath towel to give a little cushion and provide a spot for your needle tool to go down into. Or you could also use maybe a sheet of foam core, something like that to give a spot for your needle to go down in. So then I have the needle tool. I've got my template, everything lined up. I usually start in the center and work out to each edge. That's something I do. So I just hold the template, and at each of these marks that I have made, I'm just going to keep everything nice and parallel and just punch straight down. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure because we're not trying, of course, to punch through every page in the book at once. So you're just going to work your way from one end to the other so that you have punched all of those sewing stations. Double check that you don't miss one. Just in and straight back out. A nice hole that goes all the way through the text. Okay, once I have that done, I can remove my template, and you can see how I now have a group of pages with the holes from top to bottom laid out. So now I'm just going to flip this over on my table, and then when I do the next set, I'll just start stacking them back up, and that way I'll wind up with my book assembled again in the same order. So we're going to continue that process all the way through your text pages, and you will also punch through this cardstock piece. You will want holes through that as well. So we will just work on that until we have all of our pages and our cardstock page punched with holes and everything assembled back together.